In the quiet suburb where Emily lived, life was predictable and safe, or so she thought. She was a 25-year-old graphic designer, spending her evenings scrolling through her phone, sipping herbal tea, and chatting with friends. One fateful night, while trying to text her best friend about a funny meme, her fingers slipped on the keyboard due to autocorrect gone wrong. Instead of sending it to Sarah Bossi, she accidentally messaged a number she had saved years ago from a wrong call, not realizing it belonged to Vincenzo Moretti, the infamous mafia boss of the city's underworld. The text read, "Hey boss, you're killing me with these jokes. Can't wait to see you tonight." Emily hit send without a second thought and went back to her Netflix binge. Little did she know, Vincenzo, known as the Shadow in criminal circles, was in the middle of a high-stakes meeting with his lieutenants, discussing a multi-million-dollar arms deal that had gone south. His phone buzzed, and he glanced at the message, his dark eyes narrowing in suspicion. Who dared to text him so casually? He didn't recognize the number, but the words, "killing me and see you tonight," sounded like a veiled threat or a code from a rival gang. Paranoia gripped him in his world. Mistakes like this could mean betrayal or an assassination plot. He barked orders to his tech guy, Marco, to trace the number immediately. Within minutes, they had Emily's address, her social media profiles, and even her recent online purchases. Vincenzo, a man in his late 40s with a scar across his cheek from a past knife fight, decided this couldn't be ignored. He signaled to his bodyguards, and soon, a fleet of sleek black SUVs rolled out from his fortified mansion on the outskirts of the city. The cars were armored, tinted windows hiding the armed man inside, engines purring like predators on the hunt. Emily, oblivious, was in her pajamas, munching on popcorn, when she heard the low rumble outside. Peeking through the curtains, her heart skipped a beat as she saw the black cars forming a perimeter around her modest house, their headlights piercing the night like accusatory eyes. Panic set in. She grabbed her phone, wondering if it was a prank or something worse. The doorbell rang, echoing through the silent home, and she froze, realizing her simple texting error had unleashed a storm she never saw coming. As the man in suits approached her door, Emily's mind raced back to how it all started with that one misplaced message, now pulling her into a dangerous game she wasn't prepared for. Vincenzo, stepping out of the lead car, adjusted his tailored suit, his mind already plotting how to interrogate this mysterious sender who had unwittingly crossed into his territory. The neighborhood, usually asleep at this hour, stirred with whispers from behind drawn blinds, but no one dared intervene. Emily's hands trembled as she considered calling the police, but something told her this was beyond ordinary trouble. The story unfolded rapidly from there, with Emily barricading herself in the living room, heart pounding, as the mafia boss himself knocked insistently, his voice calm yet commanding through the door. "Open up, miss. We need to talk about that text," she gasped, piecing it together at the wrong number. But it was too late. The black cars had sealed her fate for the night, turning her ordinary life into a thriller of mistaken identities and perilous encounters. Emily's mind whirled in confusion as she backed away from the door, her phone clutched tightly in her hand like a lifeline. Outside, Vincenzo Moretti stood imposingly, flanked by two burly enforcers named Gino and Luca, both with tattoos peeking from their shirt collars, symbols of loyalty to the Moretti family. The mafia boss wasn't one to take chances. Years of dodging bullets and outsmarting rivals had honed his instincts to a razor's edge. He signaled Gina to check the perimeter, ensuring no escapes, while Luca scanned for any signs of police presence. Back inside, Emily scrolled frantically through her messages, confirming the blunder. Yes, the text meant for Sir had gone to this unknown number. Who was this person that could mobilize such a force so quickly? She had no idea of Vincenzo's empire, built on extortion, smuggling, and underground casinos that funded his lavish lifestyle. As the knocking persisted, Emily whispered to herself, trying to calm down, but her voice shook. "This can't be happening. It's just a text." Vincenzo, growing impatient, pulled out his own phone and dialed the number back, causing Emily's device to ring loudly in the quiet house. She answered hesitantly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Hello? Who is this?" On the other end, Vincenzo's deep, accented voice replied, You tell me. You texted me first. Hey boss, you're killing me? Sound like a threat to you? Emily's eyes widened in horror. She explained it was a mistake, meant for a friend, but Vincenzo wasn't convinced. In his line of work, coincidences were rare, and this could be a setup by the rival Rossi family, who had been encroaching on his territory. He demanded she open the door, promising no harm if she cooperated. Reluctantly, Emily cracked it open, peeking out at the towering figure in the shadows. Vincenzo's presence was magnetic. Sharp features, graying hair at the temples, and an aura of power that made her knees weak. He stepped inside without invitation, his men following, filling the small living room with tension. Emily backed against the wall, her casual home now feeling like a trap. Vincenzo scanned the room, noting the art supplies and laptop. Nothing suspicious. Sit down, he ordered, and she complied, perching on the edge of the couch. He began questioning her, who she was, why she had his number, any connections to his enemies. Emily stammered through her story, showing him the contact labeled wrong number, a do not call, from a telemarketer mix-up years ago. Vincenzo's suspicion lingered, but something in her innocent eyes made him pause. Meanwhile, outside, the black cars idled, their drivers ready for any signal. As the interrogation continued, Emily's fear mixed with curiosity. This man was unlike anyone she'd met, exuding danger and charisma. Vincenzo, too, found himself intrigued by this ordinary woman who had disrupted his night. Little did either know, this mistaken text was the spark for a tangled web of alliances, betrayals, and unexpected romance amidst the chaos of the Mafia world. As the conversation deepened in Emily's living room, Vincenzo's initial wariness began to soften. Though his guards remained vigilant, hands near their concealed weapons, he explained briefly who he was, not in detail, but enough to make Emily's blood run cold. The head of a powerful organization that didn't take kindly to intrusions. She nodded numbly, her graphic design world clashing violently with his shadowy empire. To verify her story, Vincenzo had Marco, his tech expert, run a deeper background check via a secure line from one of the cars outside. The results came back clean, no criminal record, no ties to rivals, just a normal life of freelance gigs and coffee runs. Relieved but still cautious, Vincenzo decided to turn this mishap into an opportunity. You owe me for the scare, he said with a smirk, his Italian accent thickening. Emily, sensing a shift, asked what he meant. He proposed she use her design skills to create a new logo for one of his legitimate businesses, a chain of Italian restaurants that served as a front for laundering money. In exchange, he'd ensure her safety and perhaps compensate her handsomely. Emily hesitated. This was crossing into illegal territory, but the alternative, offending a mafia boss, seemed worse. As they talked, the black cars outside began to disperse slightly, easing the siege-like atmosphere. Neighbors peeked out, whispering about the unusual visitors, what fear kept them silent. Inside, Emily brewed coffee to steady her nerves, and surprisingly, Vincenzo accepted a cup, sharing anecdotes from his youth in Sicily. Before the violence consumed him, his stories painted a picture of a man hardened by loss, a brother killed in a turf war, a family legacy to uphold. Emily listened, fascinated despite herself, her initial terror giving way to empathy. By dawn, an uneasy truce formed. Vincenzo left with her promise to deliver the design, leaving behind a business card with his private number. Call if you need anything, he said, his eyes lingering a moment too long. Emily watched the last black car drive away, her house returning to normalcy, but her life forever altered. She collapsed on the couch, replaying the night, wondering if she dreamed it all. But the card in her hand was real, a gateway to danger and allure. Over the next days, Emily threw herself into the logo project, researching Italian motifs while glancing nervously at her phone. Vincenzo, back in his mansion, thought of her often, a rare distraction in his ruthless routine. Unbeknownst to both, the Rossi family had intercepted a trace on Emily's number, seeing it as a weakness in Moretti's armor, plotting to use her as leverage in their escalating feud. Days turned into a week, and Emily found herself immersed in the logo design, her creativity sparked by the forbidden thrill. She met Vincenzo at a discreet cafe downtown, handing over sketches that impressed him with their elegance, a stylized olive branch intertwined with a subtle eagle, symbolizing peace and power. He nodded approvingly, slipping her an envelope thick with cash, more than she'd earned in months. "Good work, Kara," he murmured, the endearment sending a shiver down her spine. Their meetings became regular, under the guise of business, but laced with personal conversations. Emily learned of Vincenzo's vulnerabilities, a daughter studying abroad, kept secret for her safety, and regrets over a life of crime. In turn, she shared her dreams of traveling, stifled by financial woes. The attraction grew, subtle at first, a lingering touch, intense gazes but undeniable. Meanwhile, the Rossi threat loomed. Spies reported Emily's involvement, mistaking her for a new asset or lover. One evening, as Emily walked home from a late-night session, she noticed a tail, a nondescript sedan following at a distance. Panic resurfaced. She texted Vincenzo, who responded immediately, dispatching a car to pick her up. At his mansion, surrounded by guards and luxury she could only imagine, he explained the danger. "You're in this now because of me. I'll protect you." Emily, torn between fear and excitement, agreed to stay hidden for a bit. The mansion was a fortress, marble floors, art collections from dubious sources, and a private gym where Vincenzo trained to stay sharp. Over wine in his study, they talked late into the night, barriers crumbling. Vincenzo confessed his loneliness at the top, and Emily, emboldened, leaned in for a kiss that ignited passion long suppressed. Their night together was intense, bodies entwined in a mix of urgency and tenderness. The Mafia world forgotten momentarily, but reality intruded as dawn with news of a Rossi ambush on one of Vincenzo's shipments. He geared up, leaving Emily with promises of return. She watched from a window as black cars assembled again, this time heading into battle. Alone, she pondered her choices: escape this madness or embrace it. The pull was strong. Vincenzo had awakened something in her, a desire for adventure beyond her mundane existence. The conflict with the Rossi family escalated, drawing Emily deeper into Vincenzo's orbit. She became his confidant, using her outsider perspective to suggest strategies, like digital diversions to mislead enemies. Vincenzo appreciated her ingenuity, promoting her role from designer to advisor. Their relationship blossomed amid the chaos. Stolen moments in hidden safe houses, where passion flared against the backdrop of danger. One such night, after evading a tail, they made love in a secluded cabin, the crackle of a fireplace mirroring the heat between them. Emily traced his scars, each a story of survival, while he whispered vows of protection. But the Rossis struck back viciously. They kidnapped one of Vincenzo's lieutenants, demanding a meeting. Vincenzo, with Emily by his side in spirit, orchestrated a rescue that turned bloody, a gunfire echoing in an abandoned warehouse, bodies falling as loyalties were tested. Emily waited anxiously at the mansion, bandaging Vincenzo upon his return, his shirt bloodied but victorious. "It's over for now," he assured her, but she knew the cycle of violence was endless. To solidify their bond, Vincenzo proposed she move in, offering security and love she'd never known. Emily accepted, her old life fading as she adapted to the opulence and peril. She designed more than logos now, a fake IEDs, encrypted apps, skills honed under Marco's tutelage. Their days blended strategy sessions with intimate dinners, Vincenzo teaching her self-defense, his hands guiding hers on a pistol grip. The attraction deepened into love, fierce and possessive. Yet, shadows lingered. Emily discovered a hidden file on Vincenzo's past betrayals, including a former lover who met a grim end. Doubt crept in. Was she just another pawn? Confronting him led to a heated argument, resolved in a storm of reconciliation, bodies crashing together in raw emotion. As tensions with Rossi simmered, a new threat emerged: an undercover Fed infiltrating Vincenzo's crew, tipped off by the initial text trace. Paranoia peaked, with Vincenzo questioning everyone, including Emily briefly, straining their trust. Trust rebuilt through trials. Emily proved her loyalty by spotting the mole during a meeting, her keen eye noticing inconsistencies in his story. Vincenzo acted swiftly. The traitor dealt within the old ways, a reminder of the brutality she now navigated. Grateful, he gifted her a diamond necklace, symbolizing her place in his heart. Their love affair intensified, nights filled with exploration, Vincenzo's dominant nature complementing Emily's curiosity, leading to encounters that pushed boundaries, mixing pleasure with the adrenaline of their lives. But peace was fleeting. Rossi launched a full assault, bombing one of Vincenzo's clubs. Casualties mounted, forcing a war council where Emily contributed a plan. Used social media disinformation to lure Rossi into a trap. The operation was risky, involving decoys and timed strikes. On the eve of battle, Vincenzo and Emily shared a tender moment, vowing eternity if they survived. The clash unfolded in the city's underbelly, alleys alive with gunfire, black cars screeching through pursuits. Vincenzo led the charge, his men loyal to the end. Emily monitored from afar, heart in throat, until victory was secured. Rossi's leader captured. Celebrations followed, but scars remained. Gino fell in the fight, his loss hitting hard. Emily comforted Vincenzo, their bond strengthened by shared grief. With rivals subdued, they dreamed of a quieter life, perhaps retiring to Italy. Emily, transformed from the accidental texter, embraced her new reality, designing a future together. Yet, whispers of federal investigations loomed, agents closing in on digital trails from that fateful night. As federal pressure mounted, Vincenzo accelerated plans for escape, liquidating assets and forging new identities with Emily's help. Their days were a whirlwind of preparation, packing essentials, memorizing cover stories, and passionate farewells to the life they'd built. One evening, in the mansion's grand bedroom, they indulged in a night of uninhibited desire, bodies slick with sweat, exploring every fantasy as if it were their last. Emily, once naive, now matched his intensity, her love fierce amid uncertainty. The feds raided a warehouse, narrowly missing them, heightening the urgency. Vincenzo revealed a hidden yacht for their getaway, stocked for a transatlantic voyage. But betrayal struck again. Luca, tempted by immunity deals, turned informant. Discovering this, Vincenzo confronted him in a tense standoff, ending in tragedy. Emily witnessed the darkness, questioning her path, but Vincenzo's plea, "You're my light in this hell," reaffirmed her commitment. They fled under cover of night, black cars diverting pursuers while they slipped away. On the yacht, sailing into the unknown, Emily reflected on the journey from a mistaken text to this exile. Vincenzo held her close, promising a fresh start in Europe, away from the Mafia's grasp. Yet, old habits died hard. He maintained contacts, ensuring protection. Their love evolved, deepened by adversity, with Emily pregnant, a secret joy amid turmoil. Months later, in a villa overlooking the Mediterranean, Emily and Vincenzo built a new life. Far from black cars and threats, she gave birth to a son, symbolizing hope, while Vincenzo semi-retired, investing in legitimate ventures. Their days filled with family, art, and lingering passion. Nights under stars, rediscovering each other without fear. Emily's designs flourished online, anonymous but successful. Occasional shadows from the past surfaced, a Rossi remnant seeking revenge, but Vincenzo handled them discreetly, preserving peace. The mistaken text became a fun anecdote, the catalyst for their extraordinary love story. As years passed, they thrived, Emily teaching their child creativity, Vincenzo wisdom from scars. In the end, what began as an error blossomed into destiny, proving sometimes a wrong number leads to the right path.